All right, hello everyone, and welcome to my YouTube version of my homily for the 7th Sunday of Ordinary Time. So Lent is in a week and a half, and I couldn't help but notice that we have a couple of gospel readings that really nicely lead us into that season. I'm referring to this weekend's gospel and next weekend's gospel. Today's, in particular though, is a remarkably well-quoted bit of scripture. It's the one that people point to the most when they say that as Christians, we shouldn't judge people. Our gospel today features Jesus saying, "Do not judge, and you will not be judged." Or stop judging, and you will not be judged. Okay, fair enough, Jesus says that. But then he continues. Stop condemning, and you will not be condemned. Forgive, and you will be forgiven. So, the Bible doesn't actually say that judging is bad. It more accurately says that we should judge as we would like to be judged, with mercy, compassion, understanding. That is a much richer spiritual message, right? So before we go on any further, spiritually, just gotta say, I do very much agree with that as completely as one can. To say that we should never judge other people ever is actually a pretty childish and immature bit of morality. We want to be judged. We need to be judged when the situation demands it. So I'm going to jump to an extreme example. Imagine, if you will, that you are accused of a crime. You're arrested. You have to go to court. You have the whole thing. And that's a horrible process, especially if you're innocent and you haven't actually done anything wrong. Anyone going through that horrible experience wants to be judged. They need to hear the words, "We, the jury, find the defendant, Mr. Johnson, not guilty." A more down-to-earth example, if you are a parent, you pass judgments on your kids all the time. Timmy, you can't have another dessert. You had too many already. Sarah, let your sister play with that toy. It's her turn. All of those things are judgments. The key to a moral life is not avoiding judgments whenever possible. The key is, when appropriate, to judge fairly, mercifully, virtuously, and to judge as you would like to be judged if your positions were reversed. So I've got one more quick thing to mention before we go on to a more spiritual take on this. It is also true, and I need it on the record, saying to other people, we shouldn't judge, we should not judge as Christians, that also is good advice and not childish or immature. Because there are times where judgment is not a wise course of action. I'm talking about times where you don't have all the necessary facts that are available, or if you're just not in an appropriate position to judge anyone or anything. It's none of your business, so to speak. So even then, that is in alignment with what this gospel is about. Judging others as you would like to be judged. Who in their right mind would want to be judged by someone who lacks all the appropriate and necessary information? It'd be borderline insane, wouldn't it? So the summary, the short version of the homily so far: don't judge when it's not really any of your business. But if and when you are in a position to make calls like that, to always judge fairly, respectfully, with compassion, with mercy, with dignity, as you would like to be judged, if and when the positions are reversed. Okay, so with that as our foundation, let's take one more step closer to God, sin, and reconciliation. Us priests, we know a certain kind of person better than most in the confessional. I'm talking about the people that come week in, week out. They're trying to make themselves right for God. They're trying to be squeaky clean for the kingdom of heaven. And I know I'm stereotyping a little bit, but I mean, I'm talking about the folks who need to go to confession every time they say a bad word or don't tip more than 10%. Those people get points for effort. It is pleasing to Christ when someone sincerely tries to live their life as sinlessly as possible. That is great. However, those folks have a tendency to miss a piece in their equation between faith and sin, and it's this. At the final judgment, the main criteria with which God will judge us is not going to be how many times we went to confession. That's a factor. It is not the main criteria. No, the main thing God is looking for from us in life, besides our faith and religious devotion, the main thing He's looking for is how much love, mercy, and forgiveness we show to other people. That's what it's all about, and that's what this gospel is all about. Forgive and be forgiven. Back off from condemning, and you will not be condemned. Do you remember the good thief? The thief that was crucified next to Jesus? Today you will be with me in paradise. Did you ever wonder why that thief was judged so mercifully when he was guilty of at least one crime serious enough for the death penalty? The answer is not all that complicated. That thief did not mock or belittle Jesus on the cross, which is what pretty much everybody else was doing. He showed Jesus mercy, compassion, respect, and dignity. Simply stated, Jesus returned the courtesy. That thief was judged as he judged. And you know what? All of us have the same deal today. Us, the good thief, there's really only one difference. The difference is, for the good thief, when his hour of death approached, he was 3 feet away from God in the flesh. Okay, that's a remarkable advantage, I'll give him that. But aside from his physical proximity to Christ on the cross, it is the same deal we all have today. When we show mercy, we will receive mercy. I'm very proud of all the people that go to confession at this church at St. Joseph's. I think we're doing a great job on all of that. But what I'm going to say to my people when I'm not on YouTube, if people cannot come to the confessional, maybe they had a bad experience, maybe they're just anxious people, and they going to confession is just too hard for them. I will of course say, please reconsider, give it a go here at this church or another one if you can. But if that's just not going to happen, that is just not possible for where you are right now in your life, I will tell you, at the very least, remember this gospel. Remember this gospel. If you want to receive mercy from Christ, you must show mercy to others. Regardless of where you are right now in relation to the church, to the sacraments, whatever, showing mercy to others is always in your power. You always have that ability. and it will always be treasured and appreciated by Christ. And the forgiveness you show in this lifetime will be given back to you by Christ. And you can count on this with a great deal of interest as well. God bless you all, and thank you for watching.